Chapter 18. The Solution Platform. There were long discussions. The large concepts seemed fine, though the fine details went on for a while and got quite technical. Marcus was great, but one of the big issues was that I had no way to transport objects over time. I was actually pretty unfamiliar with the whole time travel options. The quantum computing was needed to run such intense 3D world, and the machines had to be in that time. We would need to vehemently protect them from the tech thieves and hackers. This was a big hurdle, and without that excitement and sense of natural interactions, in this way the virtual world and the project may not really entice people to move out of their acceptance of inability to bring about change. So I made a plan to go and see Sebastian and take Anna. We used the 2 time machines and went back a week after I visited him some months ago, about 6 years back. Anna and I went back to what was now a vacant lot where the house used to sit, and we activated the tiny but so impressive time machines. I had forgotten the burnt honeycomb, but what surprised me was that Anna tasted an extreme version of dark chocolate that she loved. You never seem to struggle with life, do you? As I tried not to think about the honeycomb coating my mouth and my brain. We knocked on the door and waited as he came to the door. With his hands full of electronic bits and pieces.
Come in. I can't put these down. I'm making you a dance theremin. Do you remember that dance interacting with the Avatar app? That was a great night.
We followed him back to the workshop, introducing Anna to his back as he made the finishing touches to the mechanism. Then when finished his delicate procedure, he came over and hugged Anna, saying,
"You must be very special to Leon to have brought you here. Welcome." How old are you, Leon?
23.
Oh, we grow up so fast.
Feigning to be one of my parents.
Is this a special visit or do you need my help?
Well, both really. Anna and her friends have been really special to me in the future, and she, as well as another coder friend, have been working on what we've discussed last visit. We have come to a snag. To run a big VR work or metaverse, we need to have the quantum computing from their time to my time. Is there a way to transport equipment through the time? Before we go on about the risk, I know, and will give as much security as possible from detection.
If you build a metaverse with thousands of people participating simultaneously, there is going to be a significant text buzz about that capacity.
Sure, but it seems the only way to entice people to form strong bonds and to communicate with fast data access and analysis, and not just play Street Fighter 15.
Yeah, I used to bring you stuff all the time, but I could carry it. We need to work on a system, but I'm sure we can organise it. How about something to eat?
It was so great to be in his company again, and no surprise he really got on with Anna as we talked all night about music, the farm, the plan to take her back to his time and his mother. Sebastian started to laugh, picturing Mum excited to embrace Anna as a part of the family. We tested the plan to use both time machines in tandem with equipment between the two that incorporated the equipment between the people in one large bubble. We did go on 5-minute journeys with a computer and some equipment. It seemed like it could all work out. Sebastian made an identity badge for Anna that matched his time, and we stayed a week, like a holiday, moving around the city, and I invited him back to my time at 23. Sebastian thought for a minute and said,
I don't want to give you this experience, but I think it is important, and he gave me a specific time, saying, I know this is weird and it will be full on, but you should go to 2032, 16th of August. But maybe Anna can stay here for a while, so you can settle in.
I knew this was going to get big, and when I arrived, Mum was ill with doctors on her bedside, and she greeted me without fanfare, I expected, and it reminded me of the trauma as I realised that I had walked into Sebastian's wake. I felt I was somehow pushed into another world. Maybe I was. It was another time stream where the other me said his goodbyes, and in this new time, it was my time to watch the devastation of my mother's goodbye. The metaverse came into being slowly, but with great interest from the three of us. Marcus was so dedicated to pulling my vision together with his understanding of the advances that computing had made over the half-century. He modified an old, for him, tech, where instead of the implanted computer chip that was pretty standard in his time, to a previous tech where the VR glasses were fitted with the neural triggers in the scalp to stimulate the haptic feeling. Marcus and his friend Jess modified a cool avatar engine using a voice-activated AI to build 3D representations of people or crazy variations on animals and aliens. It not only gave great looks but included nuances of movement, accents, and took facial expressions and mouthing from the user. It really made a conversation very natural or weird depending on how you wanted it. They modified an environment builder that was voice activated that included weather, fabulous furniture and architecture, as well as cool art and great views. Some of the AI visualization came out after a lot of play to be really impressive, like show me charts of rainfalls in this valley for this year. And it would do speed videos of the weather with bar charts and previous years and soil moisture content, as well as population and growth and water uses by residents, and the data displayed just went on as deep as you wanted to go. The AI engine was condensing scientific data and combining numbers of scientific papers was really impressive, at least at the early stages of investigation. Though maybe deeper investigations might be needed to get the specific issues. It was really coming together. Marcus and I went back in time to after my mother's death and planned a home base and tested issues with the existing rudimentary web protocols and speeds and designed a space needed for the two quantum computers and controlled environmental requirements. We decided to build a basement like a giant bunker under the house, 8 metres down, accessed by biometric security lift in the lounge room. It took a while to build, but after about a year, we were ready to launch. Anna had been making ads and social media hype, as well as media kits for media and magazines. Her and I went on morning TV and demonstrated the platform and got a lot of attention and had a lot of coverage, it wouldn't stop. It became a viral hangout place as well as what it was defined for, as there were prompts inside the platform to keep directing the user into future questions with exclusions for some who misused it. Initially, we had groups that were trying to submit their plans after a week, but the program was persistent in sending them back to do further research. The push for genuine focus and resolve of all the available data, as well as the comprehensive plan for the rollout of the solution, as well as the budgeting, put some people off, but it did push other people to go deeper and gave credence to their aims. Those that went through the long process really generated a great bond between the researchers and excited themselves to take even more seriously, which generated a feel that the future could really be something that was exciting. The width of the research was astounding, as there was water management of areas, dam constructions, development of issues around areas, gene therapy groups that took the latest research to try to define the uses and processes. There was a group of disaster management with folding houses brought in on planes, as well as a similar for greenhouses to help sustainability after disaster. There was hydrogen-fueled car teams, cold fusion, weather control, rehabilitation of prisoners, educational tool for geniuses, and even for me in the future seemed to be starting to glow with possibilities. Anna was a beautiful face of the whole project and had an easy time promoting it, as she used her charisma to just give snippets of the information from some of the groups to get people to start believing in the system, and the involvement just kept on growing. Those with scientists generally went better, as they had a lot of the skills in gathering and analysing, as well as a good start in understanding the process and knowing some of the basics in the realm. There was a lot of talented people out there with skills in engineering and medicine, and then there was those that had not had the opportunities but jumped on board to develop their skills, to participate with the particularity and their local knowledge. Even though the platform was about real problems and not car racing and shoot-'em-up games, the metaverse environments, the team building, the social interactions, and the motivations to be a part of making a better future made it very addictive. As with the grassroots involvement, there was also a keen interest and participation from investors and philanthropists in how they could capitalise on the platform. Some joined into the groups that excited them, and the feedback was phenomenal, and their discussions on their involvement was paramount to build into a giant affair. The first of the groups got to the point where the AI had evaluated their ideas and considered them to be real contenders for change. This was launched in a special social media live event where they were presented and went through a long question and answer forums to explain the benefits and the ways that it could be part of a better future. This first event was really exciting, and it had a couple of million viewers that rivaled almost all other media coverage. Anna, with her confidence and incredible understanding of the issues, was the host and helped the presenters to really engage the viewers. Their project was filled with intrigue and humour, as well as highlighted the platform uses and the benefits, as well as the camaraderie that existed and developed in the process. It was about the group that looked at rebuilding a community in a rough part of Sydney. The leaders did a great job in promoting their community and got hundreds to join in, organising letter drops, community centre get-togethers, setting the background to the project, and access details that bolstered quite a few participants. It grew quite quickly when people started to talk to each other in excitement. One of the agents started a street party on Tuesday nights with music by local bands with a backdrop of the houses in a particular street. It was a different street every week. The residents were encouraged to speak about themselves for a short time. There were multiple rooms where the music and dancing were the focus, and then another with conversations with residents, historians, people around the world who got to share the stories of their experiences in regional revitalisation. The night was fascinating in that the platform worked brilliantly to bring up research about regeneration of atmosphere, funding, working with governments who had an earmark for the area but had no real push for once downtrodden communities. There were interviews with community organisers from a number of cities that shared some of their wins, and the communication between the locals became a groundswell, starting with a community garden, music events in the park, discussions online on breaking down isolation, as well as an incredible and local international bonding. Statistics showed reduction in crime, increased satisfaction, raising house prices among many benefits. The area had become quite different in a short time. From its interest from the outside and the bonds of all the media attention the discussions gave them, the press coverage on popular media and the first Change Agents live broadcast from within the platform showed it as an outstanding success, viewed by millions around the globe. The commentaries talked excitedly about the development of the new approaches and the opportunities and ideas, and the trust in change that developed through the participation of the huge number of locals who, as well as people around the world who had insight into regeneration of struggling communities. There was a funny focus to a lot of the commentaries about the movement away from avatars to realistic depiction of the people in discussions on the platform, as a way to show that the place as an alternative reality rather than hiding out the weirdos playing about where they lived. The platform was instrumental in bringing the people together, encouraging trust to promote the real interactions. The project had gone beyond research into pilot programs for kids and music events in the park, recreation in the community garden, great use of the community centre and the community teams cleaning up the streets as well as mowing some of the frail community members' gardens. The data of participation was impressive. It seemed a great first launch. The local council saw the groundswell of change as irresistible not to support financially, as well as the infrastructure that was developed in discussion over time on the platform, but excitedly announced on the broadcast. And when Anna interviewed some of the key participants separately, they heavily praised the team building and the sense of community that the platform was able to create, that permeated out into significant growth and sense of power to change. They made it clear that the continuation of the project and the use of the platform was essential to keep the positive momentum. The second agency online broadcast was a comprehensive plan for disaster relief. This was not innovative in the actual products themselves, but brought together a lot of existing innovative projects and worked on manufacturing, transport and implementation. It became a very important issue with increases in bushfires, floods and storms. There was a branch of the agency looking at robotic 3D printing of house pods from local materials. One design was hive-shaped igloos to be able to have no need for different materials for roofs. They looked at cultural requirements in different countries as well as building the mechanism for the most efficiency. Their plan included fitting on trucks, was designed to be self-sufficient once installed. There were other plans for container-type houses that folded down as easily to be transported by trucks flown in on helicopters. There was an efficient polymer glass houses for growing crops, simple water filtration systems and solar cooking equipment. They were taking cutting-edge innovations and putting them into a cost-effective and achievable plan for quick relief to build people's lives without too much trauma. It even looked into building communities by integrating ideas of generating specialised small towns with new thoughts about their opportunities beyond just building shops, medical and community gathering sites. The broadcast saw architects, manufacturers, product designers, people with trauma experience and from across the world. It gave a very emotive but confident plan. The Metaverse platform had really enabled this small community of concerned citizens to overcome barriers of language and borders to get down to the solutions. They had evaluated each of the designs and prototyped all the construction with videos to show the process and detailed budgets of which a number of government agencies across the world were investigating. The ability of the metaverse to achieve these really impressive results increased the involvement across the world in subsequent projects. There were AI-based online learning schools proposals that developed individual learning for the capacity of the learner, building in social interactions where student-to-student learning was also developed and promoted. One project with a high rate of participation was by artists and art lovers aimed at making art more relevant to the world Initially it sounded a little offbeat, but it had come up with some really innovative solutions. No one could keep up with all of these even small percentages of the project, but people could audit a group and watch their progress. There was even a news broadcast channel in the metaverse specifically focused on sharing aspects of some of the good agency work. As each project got underway, they launched information with AI-generated videos to encourage interested people to join, and there were now tens of millions of participants. There were also problems. The IT nerds were trying everything they could to understand the platform generation. The quantum computing workings had made it impossible to hack, at least at this time, but it was so incredibly popular that the monopoly of this type of technology was becoming an issue. The incredible social aspects of the platform made it so appealing that family groups, sporting clubs and interest groups all had space that was more to do with the incredible ability to interact from around the world. The AI kept pushing the groups to focus on their intended research projects, but they often got around this by proposing social experiments of friendship depth, mental health elevation, which was important, but many times it was just a thin veil to online parties. The interaction was an addictive drug, especially for a world where families had very little coherence. Even if agencies were engaged in research for worthwhile issues, it became an end in itself to interact and play with the ideas rather than go through the process to gain funding. The social team building was important and had been an incredible reduction in social isolation, leading to reduction in social anxiety. There was even sex research that was way too close to porn, but the AI could not stop it because it had a legitimate base for exploration. Anna, this is getting all too much. It's exciting, but it can sort of run itself now. I think we have done an incredible job. We could go and visit your time to see if we had succeeded. She flipped her fringe and said,
I sort of like it here, with the idea that we are making a better future, but I'm worried that it could have made a planet of virtual citizens where their lives are more real on the platform than in the street or in their homes with their families. Don't get me wrong, I think people are much better off, but it could make a virtual existence a very real result. I'm not sure I want to stand up and be judged by what the people did with the tools we gave them.
I talked to Marcus, who had spent all of his time looking after the quantum computers, who had to go and get more at different times to cope with the amount of users. I asked, do you think we did the right thing about giving all these dimensions to people's lives?
We have certainly changed the world.
Not really an answer, but I feel really nervous about going back to your time to see the ramifications. What if we just pulled the plug on this? What do you think the world would do besides wanting to kill me? Marcus, I know I'm in a mood, but I just want to thank you for everything you've done. Not many people can truly say they changed the world. So thank you from everyone on the planet.